I'm sure you've heard lots of scary tales from your friends, family, or even loved ones, right? But what if I told you that it is not all fiction? What if I told you that some scary legends do exist and can haunt you forever for your next Christmas holidays? Let's dive into the next story about Claudia and Stefan. They had to find out the hard way that some stories are more than just old wives' tales meant to scare children. Be careful about the next trend you'll try. You don't want to experience the gruel of these two. And again, make sure you stick to the end to learn your lesson, guys. Welcome to your next Chills Before Sleep. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. Don't forget to enable all notifications to join our weekly cash giveaway, pinned in the comments section. I'm Claudia. I'm a 16-year-old girl living with my parents. We live in the US, but my grandmother was born and raised in Germany. My grandmother was a traditional and conservative woman. Thus, she believed in keeping old Christmas traditions alive. Our grandma was usually a very nice woman, but during Christmas, she always seemed on edge. This Christmas, my twin brother Stefan and I asked her to tell us why she left Germany. It was after the death of my sister, Amelia, she said with a heavy sigh. There's a legend in Germany of an old witch named Frau Berchta. We didn't believe it though, Amelia and I. We were about your age and we thought it was all just a story, just like Santa Claus. So we decided to call her. On Christmas Eve, we took a candle and we looked into a mirror. Emilia was really attracted towards spiritual things, and it was her belief that mirrors alternate dimensions from where you can call any spirit you like. She didn't really believe that Perchta existed, but she thought she could bring her into this world if she focused enough. It was still nothing more than a simple ritual for us. I thought it was all fun and games. Frau Perchta, come out and play. Frau Perchta, come where the naughty children lay. We chanted in front of the old mirror 3 times. Nothing happened, so we just went to sleep next to each other. But that night, I woke up a little after midnight. There was a noise in the room that had broken my sleep. I didn't dare move. In front of me, Amelia was awake too, her eyes wide open and her lips trembling. I was about to ask her if something was wrong. That's when I heard a voice speak. Oh, Lena. Oh, Amelia. You called? This was followed by maniacal laughter. Stupid girls. You should never wake the souls, and naughty kids get punished. I was about to start crying. It was true. I had been a problem child, but that doesn't mean I deserve to die. The witch jumped on top of the bed. Her long fingernails touched my body, and I closed my eyes. I knew what was coming, but I didn't dare open my eyes and see it. That's when it happened. No! Screamed Amelia and stood up. I opened my eyes to see that the witch was standing over Lena, towering over her. Oh, scared of your fate, Lena? That sentence made me freeze in fear. We were twins. The witch thought that Lena was actually me. I was scared for my life, so I did not dare to move. And I watched in absolute horror as the witch used her long, sharp fingernails and slit my twin's belly from side to side. I willed myself to sleep as Amelia cried out in pain. It was an unfathomable pain. I opened my eyes again to see the witch pulling out Amelia's intestines through the slit in her belly, pulling at it as if it were rope. Amelia's eyes showed that she felt every pull and every cut. I wish she would just faint from the pain, but her death was not so merciful. Frau Perchta completely disemboweled her, and then put her body down to stuff her corpse with straw. I closed my eyes, not having the strength to keep looking any longer, and that is when I felt someone's breath against my face. It must have been the White Witch.
Be nice, Amelia, or I will come get you.
I didn't open my eyes until the morning, and when I did, I was greeted by the straw-filled corpse of my sibling. I called for my parents and they rushed into the room. They held their child to their chest, and they cried. It was a cry full of utter agony, and it made me realize one thing. It should have been me. It was supposed to be me. After this incident, I was sent to my uncle's in Mississippi by my parents, because they couldn't bear to have me stay in the same place that my sister died in. I looked at Stefan. This seemed like another one of Grandma's fantastical scary tales, meant to scare us straight. Grandma had always told us that her sister died of tuberculosis anyway. "Kids," called my mother, "it's time for dinner." I pushed Grandma's wheelchair to the dining room, and Stefan walked with us. We said our prayers and we had an amazing Christmas Eve dinner. After the dinner, Stefan and I began talking. "We have to do it. You know that, right?" asked Stefan. I giggled. It was a sibling thing. We loved all things horror. We even had a TikTok account, and we posted a lot of paranormal trends on it. We had even amassed a loyal following. "I guess we know which trend we'll be doing next," I said as we grabbed our smartphones. We took a candle from the nightstand and rushed to the bathroom. We were giggling as if we received our Christmas gifts early. We switched off the bathroom lights after lighting the candles. I started recording. "Today, we are going to do the ritual called Frau Perchta," said Stefan. "She's a white German witch who comes to disembowel the naughty kids and fill them with straw. Let's see if she listens." I nodded. We started chanting in unison. "Frau Perchta, come out and play. Frau Perchta, come where naughty children lay." I waited for 5 seconds before I stopped recording the video. We posted the video as we exited the bathroom. Our mother told us to turn in for the night so we could wake up early the next morning. We complied with slight resistance. I went to sleep on the lower level of the bunk bed. Around 3 a.m., I woke up because I felt something was dripping on top of me. "Gross," I said as I sat up in bed, startled. I didn't even want to think what it could be. I climbed up the short ladder to Jacob's bed. I tried to shake him awake, but he wouldn't budge. So I climbed in his bed. I was surprised to see his eyes were open, but maybe a little too open. He wasn't even blinking. I thought he was trying to mess with me, so I pulled the covers off of him and was met with the most horrifying sight I could ever see. There was blood pooling around his torso, and his bowels laid next to him. The inside of his abdomen was completely full of straw. I was horrified to see this. That's when I had a vision of what had happened. Stefan is about to sleep when he hears a sound. There's a girl outside the window who looks like she is about his age. She is wagging her finger, beckoning him to come to her. He silently climbs down the ladder and he steps out of the window. She starts running to the forest and he tries to follow her, mesmerized by her beauty. He runs in the direction of her laughter and he finally finds her. Her skin is as white as snow and as soft as a feather. Her eyes are blue and her hair the color of pure gold. Her smile can make even the most serious of men loosen their guards. Stefan walks up to her. She extends her hand and he takes it. That's when she stops smiling. She starts growing in front of his very eyes. When the growth stops, she is about 8 feet tall, with a neck that alone is about 2 feet long. Her beauty turns into a haggardly appearance, and her nectar voice turns into something as shrill as machinery.
Oh, Stefan, you truly are a naughty boy.
She says this as she lifts him up using the hand that is in her grasp. He is screaming at this point, but no one will hear him in the forest. She extends her fingernail, and she slits his belly from side to side. His screams are muffled by the gurgling sounds he makes as blood gushes out of his mouth. She begins to drag him, prolonging his pain as his intestines trail behind him. She takes him back to his room, places him in his bed, and she starts replacing his bowels with straw.
So you are just like her.
I was snapped out of my vision when I heard a shrill voice. I had no time to process the information of my brother's death when I was met with this murderer right in front of me.
You're spiritual, like the one I killed,
said the tall witch with a shrill voice.
The wrong one.
I was frozen in fear. She came closer to me, but I had nowhere to go. All I could do was sit there. She placed her long fingernails on my stomach as she smelled me. That's when I heard a knocking on my door, followed by someone opening the door. It was my grandmother, using a cane. As soon as she saw the tall witch, she screamed in horror. The cane fell from her hand as her knees gave way from under her. She started crying as she started screaming, "Mercy! Mercy!" She was begging the tall witch for mercy, but I knew that Frau Perchta had none.
Finally,
said the witch, looking incredibly pleased.
I get to rectify my mistakes.
The witch walked over to my grandmother, who was now trying to slide away from the door. The witch walked over to my hunched-over grandmother, and she pierced her back. I muffled a scream as I saw the witch pull out my grandmother's spine. My grandmother cried out loud. I put my hands over my ears, being able to do nothing to stop what I was witnessing. The witch then pulled out my grandmother's insides as she squeezed them. My grandmother's blood showered over her. She looked ecstatic. I heard her saying,
"Finally, the right sister,"
before I fainted. I heard a voice whisper in my ear,
"Stay good, Claudia, lest you end up like your brother."
The next morning, I was awoken to my parents screaming and crying. A dead child and a dead parent. A Christmas that would be remembered forever, for all the wrong reasons. The police questioned me, but they were unconvinced by my story. I was placed in a psychiatric ward because they believed I was having delusions due to the trauma. Everyone thinks I am mentally unwell, but I know what I saw, and I know I need to warn people to not do the Christmas TikTok ritual that I spread. Do not call her, do not say her name, or you'll end up with your guts replaced by straw. Thank you for watching this video. Have you experienced a similar situation or another scary experience? Don't hesitate to submit your story by email or in the comments section down below. Ready for your next chills before sleep? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to enable all notifications. Be the first one to get the chills.